Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our October Washington WREIA meeting. Thank you so much for joining us. We are hard to believe it's October already. If you're like me, this is my absolute favorite time of year. Just love the fall. I hope everyone kind of got outside the last few days and enjoyed this beautiful weather. We got a great night for you, so hopefully you can sit back and enjoy our presentation. I do want to encourage you as you're listening, please. As many of you have been on Zoom meetings and different things, sometimes I feel like I'm just talking into the screen. So if you do have a comment or certainly a question as we go through the presentation, please go ahead and post that, and we'll put that up on the screen. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. It does help me out. It does help me know that as someone is out there listening, and we're having a good conversation tonight. Tonight is all about what I've learned in the past 20, really I put 20 plus, it's almost 25 years, investing here in the Washington, D.C. Metro area. And I'm going to get to that and share those with you. And I think especially if you're brand new to this business, if you're tuning in to our WREIA meeting for the first time, or you're brand new to the real estate investment business, hopefully you will really tune into this, take some good notes, hear what I'm saying. And if you apply this, I believe that you will have a very successful business. Those of you that have been around the block a little bit, like myself, maybe you've been involved in the business, some things will ring true to you. If you haven't applied a few of these lessons, if you will, I think if you do, you'll see a good growth in your business. So again, if you're new to the Washington WREIA virtual meeting, or if you've been around a little bit, you know how we do this. Kind of come on here, do a little introduction. We break away to two things. We talk about a success story, and we also do a member profile. This month's member profile unfortunately got garbled. It did not come out well, so we're not going to have that. If you do want to be highlighted on one of these meetings, just text or email me. I'd be happy to interview you and put you on a future meeting. So in a minute, we'll break to a success story. This month, we're doing something a little bit differently. I'm just going to give you kind of an added bonus, if you will, an added bonus, kind of a success principle, something I learned many, many, many years ago, about 20 years ago, that I have remembered this long, because it is really true. And I think if you listen to my words and listen to what I'm saying, hopefully you can apply that in your business and you'll see some real results. So we're going to break here. We're going to go through this little pre-recorded video, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about 5 lessons learned that I've learned over the past 20 plus years investing in real estate investments. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you do have questions, go ahead and post them. We'll put them online, and we will have a great evening tonight of sharing and learning, and hopefully get a lot of you moving forward in your businesses. So right now, we're going to take some time, listen to this video, and I'll be back with you in a few short minutes.
During this time of our monthly meeting, we generally talk about a property of the month, whether it's a successful deal, or in some cases a failure, a deal that didn't go so well. Well, this month I'm going to change that around a little bit. I want to talk to you about a success principle. And I really believe if you apply this principle, that you will have and see your business moving forward, whether you're a brand new investor or whether you're an experienced investor. My mentor, Ernie Kessler, some of you know that name, was a very gifted investor. He's a local investor. He traveled around the country sharing his knowledge and wisdom about everything real estate, about notes, buying, renovating, selling, buying foreclosures, holding properties long-term. And Ernie was very good at it. And I remember the day when Ernie called me up. I was sitting on a deck in Hilton Head, South Carolina, just finished a round of golf with some friends of mine from college, drinking a beer. And I picked up the phone, and Ernie said, "Hey, J. Pete," he always called me J. Pete, "where are you? And what are you doing?" I told him I was in Hilton Head. And he said, "Listen, I'm heading down to Tampa, Florida to do a 4-day boot camp about real estate, about notes, and about buying foreclosures. And what I would like is I'd like you to come down there. I want to give you some time to teach, and I want you to introduce a program that I thought would be great. It's a nationwide mentoring program, and I want you, if you're willing, to be a lead trainer in that program." Now, folks, I could barely contain myself. Again, Ernie was my mentor. I looked up to him. I had traveled with him. He gave me some great advice, helped me out a lot in my early career. And I thought, oh, this is fantastic. I had aspirations of becoming a teacher and a coach. And I thought, this is my chance. So I told Ernie I would love to. I was going to rent a car. I was going to head down to Tampa and I'd be more than happy to do anything he would really want me to do, and I would love to be one of his lead trainers. So I rented that car, I was heading down, I was really excited, checked into the Marriott, always stayed in Marriott's, talked to him that night. He told me about giving me some time the next day to just introduce myself, to teach a few principles, and so the audience would get to know me, and eventually we could pitch this national mentoring program. Next day came and went, I got no time. That night he said, hey, Jay Pete, I just kind of got off on a tangent, which he did many times, and we'll get you on the stage tomorrow. Day 2 came and went, nothing. Day 3 came and went, nothing. Well, day 4, right at the end of the entire seminar, after 4 days spending time with these folks, he literally gave me a half hour. And during that half hour, I went over a few things, and that was it. And I remember boarding the plane back to Washington, D.C., looking out, which I love to do, looking out the window, looking out over the clouds and thinking, you know what? Ernie has been a tremendous mentor. He's been a great help, but he's not going to get you anywhere else. He's not going to give you the golden ticket, if you will, to become a coach or a trainer or anything else. You really need to go do that on my own. So when I went home, that is when kind of WREIA was born, and my training and coaching business kind of took to life. And what happened was interesting. This is what I want to share with you, is that as soon as I made the decision, as soon as I took that initiative on my own, I set up some free seminars here at the Women's Club of Bethesda, and I started advertising. I started trying to build up my coaching and training program. Man, Ernie was right there. He was in the audience with his yellow legal pad. I can still see him just taking voracious notes. Afterwards, he'd spend an hour and a half, 2 hours, myself and my wife, Brenda, going through everything that I said, the things that I said right, the things that I said wrong, how to close, how to get people engaged. It was tremendous education, and it all kind of started, again, with me taking the initiative and then him following up with me and helping me along the way. So, saying all that, what's the success principle? Folks, I'm telling you, if you want success, if you want to move your business forward, if you want to get started with a rental property program, if you want to become a coach for that matter, you have to take that step. Surround yourself with mentors, surround yourself with people that have done what you're trying to do, but you need to be the one to drive it. You need to be the one to take those steps. And if you do, I promise you, people surrounding you that have been helping you will help you even more. They would love to propel you, but they're not going to do it themselves. I thought Ernie was going to make me into this national leader, this national trainer. It just was never going to happen. That was his business. That's what he enjoyed. He didn't have a wife or children, and that was his life. And he wasn't about to give up that stage to me. I had to take that initiative and take that first step. And I hope that you, if you're listening to this, will do the same. If you wanted to be investing in real estate, you need to take those steps, get that education. You need to go out there, do that marketing, and make this happen. And I think if you do, people around you will come to your aid and help you and make you a better investor, and you'll see your business explode. Hope this helps, and we will be talking to you here shortly.
All right, we're back with you at October Washington WREIA, and if you listened to that video, I hope you got what I was trying to communicate there. It's really about taking action. It's not relying on anyone else to do the hard work, if you will. It's no one is going to find you and renovate a house for you and pay you $50,000. I mean, you have to decide really where you want to go with this business, and then take action. Take action on your own, and you will see great results. And that's when you will see, and I saw it with Ernie, that is when you will see people rally around you and help you achieve your goals. So again, thanks so much for tuning in this month. If you have any questions, you can post them, and we will get to those. Now, tonight we're talking about lessons learned. So I'm going to go over 5 lessons. I'm sure there's many more, but 5 lessons that I've learned over the past X amount of time investing in real estate in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And the reason I kind of came up with this subject, it's not about finding houses at auction or wholesaling or raising capital or any of the bread and butter things that we need to do. It's kind of an overview of some concepts, if you will, that if you apply, I think you'll see great results in your business. And As I said in a couple of emails, if you saw those that we sent out, I had a little time to get away, get outside of Washington, D.C. I own a property down in the foothills. I don't call them the mountains, the foothills of South Carolina. And I had a few days down there. And again, whatever about the fall for me, the fall makes me reflective. I really enjoy being outside a lot during this time of year. And I thought, there are really some truths, some concepts, some lessons that I have learned that I think will help other people as they get involved in the business. And certainly, if you're already in the business, we welcome you to join in and let us know some of the things certainly that you have learned. Some of these might not be rocket science, meaning some of these you might have heard, but give me a minute to explain where I'm coming from and how they apply to what we're doing here as real estate investors in the DC metro area. So we are going to jump right in here. Lesson number one. And by the way, I know all of you are sitting at your desk with your notepads and your pens, and you're just with bated breath waiting for these lessons. You're going to scribble down everything that I say. Well, you don't have to. We have these lessons, and we'll be posting these at the Washington WREIA website. We'll also most likely be sending out an email with these lessons. So they'll all be out there. They'll be detailed for you. So sit back, relax, and let us know what you think. The first one is basic, but I wanted to start out with it because it's really helped me quite a bit throughout my business. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but lesson number one is build your team. And what I want to do is I want to break this down into specifics on different areas of real estate investment. So, for example, universal, meaning everyone should take some time. And again, I would start doing this. I don't generally say this, but I would start doing this early on in your business. I'll tell you why I said that last comment. But basically, we all need a good real estate attorney. All right. We all need a good real estate attorney, someone that can create our LLCs, our companies, someone that can do our title work, someone that can keep us out of trouble, someone that can review contracts, someone that can kind of be there as a legal mind to help us throughout our career. And again, I've been very blessed to find some of these people very early in my career, and literally they've been with me for the whole run. Okay, for the whole run. And you develop relationships with these people, and they are not only a source of business for you, but they also provide that expertise that you need to be a legitimate ongoing business. So an attorney is number one. Number two, an accountant. Sounds silly, but folks, if you make some money, you need to protect that money, and you need to be able to pay, in theory, less taxes. Now, again, I'm not going to get in a political discussion, but Donald Trump, I'm sure, has probably used the tax code to his huge advantage. Whether it's illegal or not, I don't know, because I don't know his personal tax returns. But there are things that you can do that a good accountant can help you shelter income, put money away for retirement, different business expenses that you're allowed as a small business owner to do that are legal and will offset some of your taxes. And again, if you're a full-time employee of someone else, remember, real estate can qualify as a part-time business, and you can qualify for some of these small business expense exemptions, if you will, to make your taxes look pretty good. And you also can start setting up things for your children, different things that even as you're beginning in this business is going to excite you. It's going to allow you to realize the power of real estate and power of real estate investment. So an attorney, accountant, an insurance broker, again, sounds silly, but I'm hoping that part of your plan is going to be to hold real estate, is to have real estate as a long-term capital investment. And you need a good broker. You need a good insurance broker to protect you in your buy, renovate, and sells, and some of your long-term holds. So again, scout out, network, find a good insurance broker. These are universal people that we build our team. And then realtors. Again, you want people that are around the business that you're in, and certainly realtors see houses every single day. They're dealing with buyers, they're dealing with sellers, and they see things that you may not or may not see. They're networking with other realtors. So you want a good team of realtors spread out across the area that you're willing to invest in. They will provide tremendous service for you. Also, as you're new, you might not have a real estate license. You might need one to get values. You might need one to find you some local comps on rents. There's an enormous amount of information that a good realtor can provide you as you're starting out, or if you're an experienced investor, certainly that can be a part of your team. So an attorney, accountant, insurance broker, realtors, lesson one, find them early, cultivate them, be their team member, if you will, as the investor. And that's a universal. Now let's break this down into maybe some of the areas of real estate that you're interested in. I'm a buy, renovate, and sell guy. So I'm going to give two for each category because I could go on about this subject all night long. But if you're a buy, renovate, and sell guy, someone that you need to identify, and you need to identify early, is a good contractor. Folks, I can't tell you how many real estate careers have been ruined by new investors, or for that matter, experienced investors, teaming up with really poor contractors, guys that don't do good work, companies that take your money and don't turn up. You need to find that good contractor. In fact, my very first hire after a number of years of being the general contractor, me acting general contractor, was a general contractor. He's still with me today, 20 plus years later. We are like an old married couple. We have fights occasionally on what to do, what not to do. I feel like he's lazy. He feels like I'm a cheap boss. The same relationship that most employers have. But you need to find that good contractor if you're buying, renovating, and selling houses. They're out there. They're out there. We're going to show you how to find them at a different time, but you need to find that contractor. Also, in a buy, renovate, and sell, you need to find good money. And I'll talk about this a little later, but money partners, people that can provide you capital that you can go ahead and execute 1, 2, 3, 4 deals at a time, or a big deal. You need a money partner. You are not going to be able to fund all these projects. Even if you have $1 million liquid cash sitting over at Eagle Bank, believe me, that will run out as your business grows. You're going to need to expand your ability to find partners that have capital, that have money. So those two things, if you're buy, renovating, sell, outside of the 4 universal ones, you want to focus on early. Good contractor, you want to focus on money. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. If you're into this for rental properties, in other words, maybe you're a full-time employer of the federal government, or maybe you have a good job that you really like, but you're looking at real estate as a way to diversify your investments. You're looking for long-term, good, solid rentals. My brother's a perfect example of that. He has been working for Verizon for many years, but he has a number of rental properties, okay, that he's built up cash flow and equity over the years. What do you need if you want to be a good, to build your team as a property of long-term rentals? Number one, you need a good property manager. Now, if they're local, some of you could manage those yourself. If you have that personality, you can find good tenants, you can qualify them, you can arrange contractors to go by, you can do that role. Some of you do not want to do that role. Some of you might have rentals in Indianapolis or Nashville or Florida, or wherever where the cash flow might be a little bit better. You need to find a good property management company that can help you manage those properties. They'll do the day-to-day tasks that you need. Very high on your list. And number two, you need a handyman. Now, I didn't say a contractor, right? I said a handyman. I need a guy that can do a little bit of everything, that could fix a leaking toilet, or could repair a light, or might be able to go and do a little painting, or all the different little things that are required in order for long-term rentals to flow. One of the things around this area, those of you that are landlords, you know this, the HOAs are getting much tougher. The cities are doing inspections. They have a bunch of laundry lists of little things, smoke detectors, or caulking around a tub, or just little nuances of owning a rental property that you need a good handyman. So if you're looking to buy long-term rentals, property manager, handyman. Wholesalers. I know a lot of you don't, just want to turn into wholesalers. That's all you want to do. And that's great. That's a viable business. Certainly. If I want to be a wholesaler, I think two things that you need to identify. Number one, you need to identify a buyer's list. And what I call is renovators. Okay. You need to find people that are willing to buy, renovate, and sell properties in the area, zip code, county that you're looking to wholesale properties for. Spend some time on that early. Get a list of 5, 10 good renovators in that area that once you have a property under contract or secured, you can send that out to that list of folks and line up a good buyer in order to make your wholesale fee. Number two, you need, and again, these overlap obviously, but I was just trying to be specific to the specific real estate tactic, if you will. The other thing is a wholesale, I think you need a social media or technology consultant. Now, could you use that in the other forms of real estate investment? Absolutely. But as a wholesaler, you're going to be spending the majority of your time, right, locating properties, and data analytics, social media. A lot of that is coming into play now to finding properties. So you need, if you're not an expert at that, or you don't want to be an expert in that, you need to find that social media or technology partner that can put together that marketing plan and can help you dive into some data analytics in order for your marketing dollars to be well spent. So I would find those two folks if I'm a wholesaler. And then maybe some of you want to be into notes, right? We're going to be doing a note class here coming up. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later in the evening. But if you want to be invest in debt or in notes, you need a list of good asset managers. Okay, asset managers that can feed you deals on a regular basis. These are spread out all over the country, so you need the ability to have them on your team, if you will. And then you also need a good servicing company. This is important, obviously, if you're going to be buying a performing note. You want to turn that note servicing. And many states, it's you need to be licensed, so that's how you get around that. You hire this servicing company. And there's a number of them that are very good. You need them on your team. They have to be part of your day-to-day communication and be part of your team. It'll make your life a lot easier. So that's lesson number one. You got to build that team. And folks, a lot of people don't take time to do this, and they're scrambling constantly. And I think if you build these relationships early, and again, the verbiage that you're going to use is, listen, I'm getting involved in the real estate investment. And again, this is where I'm going to be focusing. I'm going to be focusing on finding good properties and wholesaling to other investors. And you need to find those people that you can plug in now in order, as your business starts and starts growing, you have those people to rely on instead of scrambling to find them, when you have a deal. Now, again, if you're an experienced person, maybe you want to expand your business. Maybe you're buying, renovating, and selling properties, and you want to wholesale next year in 2021, 5 to 7 properties. We'll put together some of those team members that you need now in order to be up and running as you go into 2021. So it's important to constantly be looking at that team, expanding that team, cultivating that team, and growing that team in order to have a very successful business. That's lesson number one. Hope that helps a little bit, especially if you're getting started. Lesson number two, very important, and I'm building up to all of these, but this one's close to my heart because I take a lot of phone calls from folks, and we talk about different things. But the number one thing people complain about, and I've been known to complain about this too, I think we all do as real estate investors, is a lack of deal flow. We want more deals. We have capacity to do more deals. We have the team in place, and now we can execute 2, 3, 4 deals a month, whereas maybe we're only getting one, or maybe we're getting one every 2 or 3 months, and we want to expand that to 2 or 3 every month. Whatever the case may be, wherever you are in this business, some of you have the ability and desire to do more business. So that brings us to lesson number 2. It's simple, folks. We got to spend more time and more money on marketing. We have to let more people know about what you do and how they can benefit from that service. There was a study done recently by one of the big franchise Homevestors. I don't mind throwing out their name, Homevestors. One of my buddies bought a franchise in upstate New York, spent a lot of money. But they have so much data because they have these franchisees owners all around the country, and they all put money into a pot every single month to spend on marketing. And Homevestors then divvies out the leads based on the people's investment into the marketing. So they have so much data around the country, different markets, and they've come up with some studies recently that shows that some of the big cities, and Washington is deemed a big city, Boston, New York, LA, Chicago, Houston, you know the cities, Miami. It takes about an average from their studies about $10,000 in order to secure a deal. Now think about that. You need to spend $10,000 of marketing dollars in order to secure one deal. How many of you out there are spending that kind of money? So if you're complaining about lack of deals, you might really look inward and say, how can I spend more time and more money on marketing? Because I said time, right? If you don't have the capital to invest in marketing, you got to spend more time. And that's going to be one of the other lessons about networking. But you have to spend more time and more marketing dollars. You got to put together that plan. And that plan has to be consistent and reliable. I know too many investors that will focus on marketing. And then once they have 2 or 3 deals, they'll forget about the marketing. And they'll go and execute those deals, and then they're back to zero. But you need to have that every monthly plan, whatever that may be, in order to have the reliable flow. Think of it as a pipeline, right? As a pipeline of leads that come in. If you own a Chinese restaurant or any kind of restaurant these days, and nobody's coming, this is a totally different, totally opposite, unique year. But if you own a restaurant in a regular year, if you don't have people coming through the door, a good chance is you have to spend more time and energy on the marketing of that restaurant. Let the neighborhood, let the people around that restaurant, let your existing customers know that you're still operating, and maybe have a special 1 month or a 2-for-1, or those of you that run around the bars in DC and the clubs, they have drink specials and ladies night and this and that. It's just a form of marketing. They're trying to drive more traffic into their business. We need to do the same thing. So maybe on your team you need to find a marketing consultant, someone to sit down with you, put together a social media platform, put together a direct mail platform. Maybe you're doing some advertising, direct advertising, TV, radio. Maybe you're doing some data analytics where you're really targeting in on your market and who you want to put your message out to. Folks, it could be literally a full-time job. And some of the best real estate investors are really some of the best marketers. Some of the best real estate trainers out there are really some of the best marketers. So take some time to really think about what you're doing with marketing. And as I segue into this lesson 2, spend money on marketing, I'm going to say spend your time. This is A, B, lesson number 2, A and B. A is spend that marketing dollars, obviously, on finding good deals, right? Finding good deals. You could be the best renovator in the country. You could be the best designer. You could know exactly what the new buyers want and the materials, and you could have the best paint colors. But folks, if you can't find the deal, if you can't find the house to do that in, you're worthless, right? If you're a great property manager, or you have a great property manager team together, but you can't find a good cash flowing piece of property, you're done before you even start. So spend time on marketing and spend that time on locating properties. And then the segue of that, the secondary part of that, is spend time on raising capital. We've talked about this before. Institutional and private money is important. Institutional meaning network with banks, get to some banks, see what kind of programs they have, lines of credit, small amounts of money, larger amounts of money. Get with your private money lenders. Figure out how you can continue to have capital come in as your business grows. Now, if you're new, you just have to find one bank to help you out, one private money lender to help you out. You need one deal. So you got to spend a little money on marketing or effort and time and networking and so forth. So that's lesson number 2. And folks, this is one we all have to remind ourselves on, I believe, because sometimes it's hard to spend money on marketing, right? Because you're throwing out money. You don't know if it's going to return. But if you don't do it, right? If you don't do it, you're not going to have any deals. So your business is going to be dead before it starts. If you're an experienced investor and you want to ratchet it up, if you want to take it to the next level, I promise you, if your next deal, if you take a little bit of money and you throw it to the side and you spend it on very targeted, good marketing, don't just randomly throw it out there, but think about it. Think about where your deals are coming from. Think of the type of people that you're buying your deals from. Think of the area that you're buying from, and put your marketing dollars toward that area. And I believe you will find out that that is the missing ingredient. So number 2, spend time on locating properties, spend time on raising private capital and institutional capital, but most importantly, spend money on marketing. And that will help you a lot. That will help you tremendously. Number 3, and again, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, certainly let me know. Sometimes those of you in these Zoom meetings know it's a little tough sometimes to be just talking into a screen, not knowing if anyone is listening. But lesson number 3 is something I've had a conversation with a couple investors over the last month. And as I was spending a little time down in South Carolina, this always resonates. This comes back to me a lot. And if I was starting all over again, people always ask, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? And that's easy to say, right? We've all wished we could look 20 years back and start over with knowing what we know now. We certainly would do things probably a little bit differently, but it's never too late. And if you're starting out, listen to some of these things. Surround yourself with people doing the things that you want to do that have been doing it for a while, and listen to them. See what they did right, see what they did wrong. Excuse me. Number 3 is focus on cash flow. Focus on cash flow. Now, what exactly does that mean? let me tell you, as a real estate investor, as a business owner, let's broaden this out. As a business owner, you need monies coming through the door consistently in order, number one, to operate your business, right? To pay your rent, to pay your mortgage, to put food on the table for yourself, your family. You need cash flow, consistent, reliable cash flow. Now, some of you are coming at this from a aspect or from a full-time job scenario. You're already working full-time and you have an income, and that income is allowing you to pay your bills, and you want to get into real estate investment. And that might be the best way to get in because you already have that cash flow coming in. Now you have to have the discipline, energy, enthusiasm in order to find that extra 7, 10, 15 hours a week in order to spend time in your real estate investment business. So you've done one, but now you have to come up with extra hours in your time. And I realize with commuting, now again, a little less now for some of you because you're working from home. But with children and with other activities, sometimes it's hard to find those extra 10 hours a week. But if you can and you have that reliable job, I wouldn't recommend quitting your job quite yet. I think rely on that cash flow. Now, if you're starting out, one of the things I think you need to think about is how are you going to pay those monthly bills? It might be right? It might be something like starting out, and that's why a lot of people start out wholesaling real estate. That's why people start out in buying cash flow generating properties, okay, that actually have a cash flow. Now, what you're going to find in the Washington, D.C. metro area, sometimes that's hard to do. Why? Because our properties around here are so expensive. And by the time you pay the property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and mortgage, you don't have a lot left over at the end of the day in order to pay your own bills. So you might identify other markets around the country where the cash flow on rental real estate works much better. That's one idea, okay? Or you're looking for, income producing commercial property. I mean, I know if you're starting out, some of this stuff sounds, oh, that sounds great. I would love to own a building around the corner that generated me, $5,000, $10,000 a month. Well, folks, you got to start somewhere. We all did, right? We all started somewhere. So maybe what you do is you're working full time. Maybe you just find next year 1 or 2, buy, renovate, and sell properties. I've told you many times that most of these properties will yield you $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. Well, if that's extra capital into your bank account every year, maybe over the next year or two, you could save up X amount of thousands of dollars from those activities. And then instead of going out and buying a BMW or instead of going on a fancy vacation, maybe you take that money and you reinvest it in an income producing property. It's very, very important to have cash flow over time. Now, again, maybe not from day one, but over time. So I would focus on that. I would focus on that cash flow. Now, if it was me starting over again, knowing what I know now, I would buy, renovate, and sell wholesale some of those activities to gain chunks of money, like I have over the last 25 years, okay? I would take that money and instead of investing maybe in some rental properties in this area, which I've done and I've done fine with, I would probably take that money and identify other markets that really cash flow, okay, from day one. Because many of the properties around here, you're going to get some equity buildup over time, but they don't cash flow from day one. And folks, when we go through times like COVID, when we go through times like 2005, when the Great Recession was, you can't eat, you've heard this, you can't eat equity, right? Equity is great. That's net worth. But that doesn't pay the monthly bills. So you got to figure out that component of that cash flow. An alternative is become educated and start investing in notes and in debt. We're going to have a class on that I'll tell you about at the end of this evening. But some of you might want to go that route. Some of you might want to say, listen, I want to invest in some good performing notes. I'm going to raise some capital in order to do that. I'm going to get a nice spread. I'm going to get a nice fee. And I'm going to build up that cash flow. And so at that point, then I don't have to worry about the monthly rent or the monthly mortgage or the monthly car payment. I can really focus in on my business and grow that business. So cash flow. I would really encourage you to put capital toward that, to generate that cash flow and to focus on that. And in some cases early on, you might have to focus on that chunks of money, but take some of that money and reinvest it into cash flow. Number 4, this kind of goes right along with what we're saying. And this goes along early, okay? I titled it "Build Your Net Worth," and what I mean by that. And again, this has been a concept that has been around forever, but we constantly have to remind us some of these things. These are universal truths that if we apply, right? If we apply, we're going to get a result, and that is spend less and then you earn and invest the difference. Spend less than what you earn. I don't care if you bring in $2,000 a month or $100,000 a month. If you're spending $110,000 a month and you're only bringing 100, you're going to be broke. So you've got to come up with what you're bringing in, and you've got to spend less than that and invest invest the rest. Example of this, and this is something you should teach yourself and also your children. My son Jack is a senior at Butler University in Indiana, and he has just started getting quote unquote real jobs. Now, he worked a pizza delivery job. He worked with JVN Realty, my company, cleaning out houses. He's done some office work for us, some spreadsheets and so forth. So he's had work, but I'm talking about work where he had to report every day. This past summer, he had an internship in Indiana. This fall, he has an internship with a large government contracting company. So this is where he has to report. He's got real bosses, not his father, not his mom, and he's earning some good money. But I told him early on, I said, Jack, and Jack is my child that likes to, doesn't really know where his money is going, if you will. It's not an exorbitant spender per se, but he just doesn't know where it goes. And at the end of the month, he never has any. So I keep trying to drill into him. Now that you have this job and you're getting this money every week when you get that paycheck, or every 2 weeks, take a certain amount out that you can afford and put it in. He likes the stock market, like a lot of kids. He thinks he's going to get rich with the stock market, and that's great. And he set up an account. I said, every paycheck, whatever you can afford, I don't care if it's $5, $10, $20, whatever it is, take it immediately and put it away and forget about it. And that's your investment dollars. And he came up with $75, so $150 every single month. And what I'm trying to drill in him is this habit of paying yourself first. Don't spend all the money that you're making. Take some of that and invest it in something. Now, of course, tonight we're talking about real estate. So you have to have that concept. And folks, you'll be surprised when you get involved in this business and you buy, renovate, and sell a house. You might come out with a check for $40,000. Now, of course, you have some business expenses. That's why you want a good accountant on your team to limit the taxes as much as you can. But you want to take a portion of that and you want to put that either back in your business. Now, early on, you might invest in some more marketing, but you also want to invest it in something that's going to grow over time. Right. And that's what's going to build your net worth. I know a lot of investors have been investing as long as I have, but honestly, folks, they don't have much. I mean, they own a house, but they have no rental properties. They have no notes. They have nothing in the stock market. They've kind of spent their money. And that will catch up with you. So at some point, you want to look back and say, hey, after all this effort and stress and time and energy in building this business, you want something to hang your hat on. So when you take some of that capital and some of that money, invest in something that will keep giving. It's like a toll booth. You go through the toll booth and keeps giving and giving. And in our business, that's rental property. That's rental. That's performing notes. That's instruments of debt that keep paying us over the course of time. And again, as you grow your business, as you get more experience, this is just the classic thing to think about. As your income increase, don't increase your expenditures. And what I mean by expenditures, not marketing, not building out your office, not investing in technology, not investing in people, if you will, to build your business. But I'm talking about all of a sudden you go from driving a nice Toyota Camry, that's fine right now, in order to buy, an $80,000 Jeep truck, right? And that's just debt. And that's something I learned in Economics 101 many, many years ago. You can invest in guns or you can invest in butter. And so many people invest in butter, stuff that just goes away, that loses value as soon as it comes off that lot, right? It makes you feel good. You feel important for a minute and then goes away. Now, again, it's better as your income increases, your investments increase, your guns increase. And then at some point, and it won't take long, then you can reward yourself. And then you can go on that nice European vacation. Then you can buy what's important to you. We all spend money on what's important to us. Some of you love cars. That's great. Go buy the most expensive, fanciest car you want. Or you love a big house, or you want fancy clothes, or you want to go down to the club and spend, hundreds and hundreds of dollars on alcohol. Whatever it is, we're all going to spend money on things that we want to spend money on. Okay. But Don't do it early. Get the net worth up, get the investments going. Something that I preach to my kids for years is that I love experiences. And I kept telling them, when you get an opportunity to do something, I want you to say yes to it. Okay. If it's out of your comfort zone, say yes to it. If your buddies want to go skiing. If you have an opportunity to go to a nice restaurant, go to the nice restaurant. The point is in Brendan and I's life, experiences matter. We want to experience things. Now they've come back to haunt me on that, because whenever they don't have money, but they have an opportunity to do something, they always say, "Hey Dad, experiences matter." And so I end up paying for some of those things. But my point is that build your net worth, build that nest egg, so you at the end of time, at the end of 5 years or 10 years, you have something to look back on, and you have some of those guns. All right, some of those guns. Lesson learned: build your net worth. All right, number 5. Hopefully this is helping you out a little bit. And you can apply some of these. Lesson number 5. And if you've been around me, you've heard me say this over and over again, and I'm going to preach it because I believe it. And I built my business on it. It's network, 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 network. Go to bed tonight saying those 3 words: network, network, network. Folks, small business folks, we need to network. We need to constantly have a networking schedule. We need to attend things. We need to meet people. We need to stay in touch with people. We need to let those people know exactly what we do. Think about all the avenues of our business that, if we networked, would help us out. A lot of these lessons, all right, revolve around networking to build a team. Ask other investors, ask your friends, ask your family, other people that can help you build that team. Now, a network is basically made up of 3 things: your business network, okay, your social network, and your professional network, right? Your social network, your friends and family. Start there. Let them know if you're comfortable. Let them know what you're wanting to do. If you're an experienced person, you'd be surprised at how many of your friends don't even know what you do. You say you're in real estate, they think you're a real estate agent. Okay, your professional network, your attorneys, your accountants, your contractors, all the people that are in your professional world. Business can be people that you come in contact in your day-to-day business life. They're business friends, if you will. You need to continue to add them to your database, and then you need to be in touch with them. And I would suggest weekly, bi-weekly, monthly at the minimum. And how do you do that, folks? You create different funnels, right? Different funnels that you're going to be constantly being in touch with them. You can create value with articles or blogs or success stories or testimonials or your past deal, or deliver different messages through video, through email, through all the social media platforms. Maybe post something on Facebook, or post a story on Instagram, or something that revolves around building your business. Now, when I say networking in this realm, I'm talking about networking your business. I'm not talking about posting a picture of your dog doing spins after their meal. Maybe if you can relate it back to your business and back to real estate, maybe that caption is, "This is sometimes how I feel in my real estate business," right? Where I'm spinning and spinning around and getting nowhere. Whatever the case may be, you need to use all the available platforms that we have now to build that network. That network can provide you with team. That network can provide you with capital. That network can provide you with leads. That network can provide you with renters. That network can provide you with a house around the corner that needs work, that could be a great long-term rental. That network, my network, led to me having a State Farm agent refer me to a commercial building in Virginia that I bought 16 years ago, that today is generating close to $10,000 a month in cash flow. $10,000 a month through a referral. No one else knew about this building. She referred it to me because she knew the owner and thought I might be interested. Folks, that is the power of network. Now, I would love to buy 10 of those, but it's hard to find. So sometimes that network can provide you a great lead. So if you combine marketing, right, building your team, you combine marketing, you combine earning, spend less and you make, building that net worth, and you put that networking engine in there, and you network, folks, you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to be unstoppable, and your business is going to grow, and your business is going to take off. So if I'm brand new to this business, tomorrow, tonight, whenever the case, I'm sitting down and I'm thinking, this is the tactic I want to take. This is the part of real estate that I want to go after. I want to go after, buy, renovate, and sell. And John said, I need an attorney, accountant, insurance broker, and realtors. Start there. I need a good contractor, right? And I need money partners. Start there, okay? So let me look at this. Will you name your top 5 favorite markets out there? DCA, give me a minute, Jim. So you're building that team. You're understanding that, giving them value to start generating these leads and helping you out. You also need to know that as you go, you're going to need to spend marketing dollars, right? You can't avoid marketing. You either got to spend some time, a lot of time, or you need to have a little money set aside to start slowly building up that marketing funnel. Last question that Jim Howe there's 5 markets outside of DC that I'm guessing are good cash flow markets. Well, Jim, this is what I would say. I would say for most of us, for a lot of us, a natural market might be somewhere where you have some familiarity with. Now, again, there's been a lot of debate about this, but with technology, you can get a lot of information on markets. It's just available, right? You can get rent to own data. You can get jobs coming in, jobs going out. I would identify markets, all right? I'd identify markets that are growing in jobs, right? Where the job growth is strong. And where that is in a lot of areas is in smaller, regional cities. I mean, I'll give you one great cash flow market, but again, sometimes you trade cash flow for equity buildup. Columbia, South Carolina is a notorious good cash flow market, but the houses don't grow in value. But you can still buy a good, solid, if you're doing single families or multi-units, you can still buy a good property down there that will cash flow very well. Another market, and Kimberly, that's been online that I've been trying to help out, is up in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is notoriously a very good cash flow market. So I think, that's probably a private conversation for folks, but I think smaller regional areas outside of the big cities are tough. Good luck finding cash flow in LA, San Francisco, Chicago, DC. It's tougher. It's not impossible, but it's tougher. You want to go to the outer burbs of some of these cities to get cash flow. And then there's other markets that are naturally good cash flow. A lot of parts of Ohio, Indiana, Indianapolis pumps up a lot of times as very good cash flow markets. I found Dayton, Ohio, where I did some investing, to be very good cash flow market. Parts of Florida have always been in and out. Some parts are getting a little more expensive, but parts of Florida, Jacksonville, has always been on the list of a very good cash flow market. Along the coast, north of Fort Lauderdale, some of those little areas down there are good cash flow markets. The thing you have to decide is you're trading cash flow for equity buildup, right? Those markets don't tend to grow tremendously in value. I tell you what, my college town has grown tremendously, and the cash flow down there is pretty good. Area called Greenville, South Carolina. It's kind of halfway between Charlotte and Atlanta, growing like weeds. I mean, people are coming in. It's crazy, the growth down there, and the cash flow is still pretty strong. So it's not that hard if we take a little bit of time to identify some good cash flow markets. And then you got to set up your team, right? And you got to set up the infrastructure in order to manage those. So I hope some of these help. These have been true in my life, and I've tried to apply some of these to my business, and it has helped because, as a buy, renovate, and sell guy, man, I get $40,000 in, it can go out real quick. And if I'm not disciplined to understand, I got to set a little bit aside for marketing, got to set a little aside to pay ourselves, got to set a little aside to invest in long-term assets, man, that money can disappear overnight. Now, speaking of cash flow, something I've mentioned for the past few weeks, and I want to end up here, is we're having a debt class. What I mean by debt is exactly that. We're going to be talking about debt. We're going to be talking about performing notes. We're going to be talking about non-performing notes. We're going to be talking about judgments, and we're going to talk other forms of debt that's secured against assets and how we can get involved in this business. I just have bought a few notes here in the last few months. One in particular, we're going to actually be at that property. Now, again, we're going to comply with all the COVID recommendations, meaning everyone's going to have a separate space, if you will. We're going to have obviously our wipes. We're going to have our shields. We're going to it's well ventilated, and it's going to be a great opportunity for you to see an actual deal unfold. But we're going to talk about identifying notes. We're going to be talking about where to find them. We're going to be talking about servicing companies. We're going to be talking about analyzing. Spend some time with financial calculator. I know that scares some of the people. We'll walk you through that. How to sell partials. How how to return literally 18, 20, 25%. We're talking about the rule of 72. We're going to be talking about raising capital to buy these notes, even if you don't have any. And we're going to spend 2 whole days here at this property. I finally have a date. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be November 7th and November 8th. I'm not charging exorbitant amount. It's $14.95 for 2 days. My guarantee has always been, if you do business with me in the future, we'll refund this class. But if you want more information, this is just real quick. Again, some of you have done this. If you've done this, fine. I will be in touch with you to give you more information and see if you're interested in signing up. But you can just text debt to my cell phone, 301-943-5535. It'll be November 7th, November 8th. We're going to bring in some lunch. We're going to, this is a property on over 2 acres, so there's plenty of room for us to spread out. And we're going to be obviously careful with social distancing. Won't be a problem with this setup that we have. And I think it's going to be exciting for you to see. This is a non-performing debt that I'm going to show you how it was located, how we negotiated it, and how we're going to exit. There's different ways we can exit this deal in order to make possibly a 6-figure profit. So it's going to be a great weekend of talking about debt. So again, 301-943-5535. Now, I've also thrown out a bunch of things tonight. Some of you have taken advantage of this. I'm doing what I call mini mentorings. These are just 3 one-hour sessions that we have on any subject you like. Maybe it's on marketing. Maybe it's on raising money. Maybe it's on locating good markets for rental properties. Maybe it's anything to do, wholesaling, anything to do with real estate investment. It's $500. There are 3 one-hour sessions that we set up. We can either do it virtually or in person. And I'll give you some great time there. And I know you'll learn a lot. Again, if you're interested in that, just text me at that same number. You can just put down mentoring or mini, and I'll be in touch with you to talk to you more about the subject and how we can schedule that out. More than happy to share with you some of my expertise and some of my experiences, mostly good, some bad. I've gone through some bad this year, cleaning up some things. Some of it's been painful, but you learn from that, and you hope to not make those same mistakes again. And that's just business. All right. So I thank you for joining me tonight. And again, I hope some of these lessons, let me review these real quick with you, and then we'll sign off. If you have any questions or comments, you certainly can use that cell phone, text me, be happy to help you out with anything that you might have. So let's review these real quick. Lesson number 1, build your team. Don't take this as I'll do it over time. Be very conscious in building your team early. Okay, build your team early and be consistently on that. All right. Number 2, spend money on marketing. That's what this business we're in. People have to know what we're doing. So spend that money on marketing. Number 3, cash flow. Okay, especially in times of depressed markets when things don't sell as quickly. Now things are selling now, but things aren't selling as quickly, or you have gaps between your deals. You want some cash flow to be able to come in and to help you run your business. Number 4, build that net worth. Spend less than you make. It's a universal truth. Try it. Pay yourself first. Spend less than you make. You'll be surprised. That income grows. Don't always just grow those, the fancier car, bigger house, or more clothes, or better vacations. Try to stay consistent. Over time, you will be able to do absolutely anything that you want to do. And then finally, network. I can't express that enough. We need to continue to do that, especially in these times with COVID. A lot of us are isolated. It does feel tougher. I enjoy doing these virtual meetings, but it's certainly not that connection that we have when we're together. Hope to do that again sometime soon, where we can really feed off each other and get some great ideas. So it's important. And we can network online, and we can network in small groups, and we can network one-on-one. I'm having a lot more one-on-one sit-down coffees, a lot of phone conversations, some texting back and forth. So we need to stay connected. It's very, very important, because it looks like many of you agree this COVID thing is not going away. It's going to be around a little while. So we have to adapt, like many of you are, and we have to continue moving our business forward. Great time of year to get some deals as we go through the holidays. People get lazy. People get distracted. Don't you do that. You go out and find good deals through the winter. And it's going to be a great year coming forward. So again, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Any comments, questions that you had that you didn't get answered, certainly I tend to get them after the meeting, which is fine. If you're interested in our debt class, just text debt to 301-943-5535. Or if you're interested in some mini mentoring, mini sessions, you can text that too. Be happy to get back in touch with you. Look forward to speaking with a lot of you soon. Take care, stay safe, and we'll be with you next month in November. Take care.